It costs about $50 to feed our family of 7 at Chick-fil-A, but did you know that I can spend that exact same amount on groceries for an entire week of dinners? Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a plan for an entire week of dinners that costs just $50 at Walmart. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a mom of 5, and I share content here on YouTube, especially related to frugal grocery shopping and meal planning on a budget. So a couple weeks ago, I shared some $10 meals that you could make with ingredients from Walmart. And I will be sure to link that either up here or in the description box for you guys if you want to check that out. So today's video is similar, but instead of just like meals that specifically cost $10, I thought I would try to do an entire week of meals that you can buy all the ingredients for $50 from Walmart. Whenever I do a meal plan like this, where it's an entire week of dinners, I always plan for 6 meals and then one that is a leftover night. I found that for my family, if I plan 7 meals, we almost always don't eat one of them because we might get busy and I don't have time to make that 7th one, and there's pretty much always leftovers. So it just makes sense to have a leftover night. So you have a break from cooking one night and you eat all the leftovers up and you don't have any food waste. So this is going to be 6 dinners plus a leftover night for you. So in this video, first we are going to take a look at the meal plan. I will show you the 6 meals that we are going to have. Then I'm going to show you the groceries. We're going to talk through the prices of each item that you need to get. And then I will show you how to make everything. So let's get started. Here's a look at this week's $50 meal plan. So I'm going to have 3 recipes here that call for chicken, 2 that call for pork, and then we have 1 here that is a meatless meal, and then leftovers because we always have leftovers to eat up. So we have taco soup here. This is just an easy crock pot taco soup, and that calls for about 3 cups of chicken. Chicken ranch pasta. This is a 1-pot dinner. That's also super easy. That calls for 2 cups of chicken, and then chicken fried rice calls for 2 cups. So I'm gonna cook 1 big chicken, and I should get at least 7 cups from that. So that will be enough for those 3 meals. Then we're gonna do roasted pork loin, and for a good side for that, I'm gonna do roasted broccoli and then some bread. That feels kind of like, to me, like the fancier meal for this meal plan. And then with my leftover pork loin that I've sliced up, I'm gonna do pork hoagies. These are pork sandwiches that are super good. You melt cheese on top of them. We really enjoy those. And then for a side for that, I'm just gonna do some simple veggies. I can maybe do some tortilla chips as well. And then quesadillas, these are just simple quesadillas with black bean salsa. And I feel like the black bean salsa just kind of elevates the meal and makes it more filling as well. So that is my meatless meal and then leftovers. So that is my meal plan that only costs $50 at Walmart. Okay friends, here is a look at everything that you will need to make a week of dinners. That's including 6 meals and then 1 night for leftovers. So let's come over here. We're going to talk prices of everything. So like I said, this is all from Walmart. So these are my local Walmart prices here in Texas. So we got a pack of tortillas. 1 night we will have 1 meatless meal, quesadillas, and then a black bean salsa. So these are for the quesadillas. These were $1.98 for those, and it's a pack of 10, the soft taco ones. Here are hoagie rolls. We will be having pork sandwiches with these rolls. They had a variety of different options at Walmart. Those are just the ones I chose. They were $3.37. A lot of them were a little closer to $4. You could go cheaper. You could do like just a basic hot dog bun, but they will get more soggy. So it's nice to have something a little more substantial, which is why I went ahead and paid a little bit more for the actual hoagie rolls. Then the $1 French bread. We will just be using that as a side for one of the meals. And this cheese was $3.78. Now, normally it's been more like $4.22 at Walmart, so it's down a little bit right now at $3.78. Then looking at these veggies over here, sorry, got all my prices there. The carrots are now $1.32. They were under $1 for a while there, 98 cents, but they are up over $1 now, unfortunately. The lime, this was just, I think 25 cents. The bunch of cilantro was 50 cents. We'll be using both of these in that black bean salsa, and as well as this onion. This was 96 cents for the onion. Then jalapenos, I really only needed 1, but I was doing a grocery pickup order, so you have to get like a quarter pound, I think. So these, it was still super cheap. I think 24 cents for these. And you can always cut them up
and freeze them to use later. So I think I'm gonna try to do that. Otherwise they just sit in my crisper drawer and eventually go bad. So I'm gonna try not to let that happen this time. The tomatoes was just 46 cents for 2 of them. The broccoli, I got 2 heads of broccoli and this was $3.73. I'm gonna use the larger one, cut this up and roast it as a side with our pork loin. And then this smaller one, we will cut it up and this is gonna go with our chicken ranch pasta dish. It will go in that. So that is what the broccoli is for. Then coming over here, I have 2 bags of mixed veggies here. These were both 98 cents a piece. 2 bags of frozen veggies. One is the mixed veggies. This will go with our chicken fried rice. And then the corn, I will be dividing this between 2 recipes. Our taco soup, I'll do half in there, and then the other half will go in the black bean salsa. The tortilla chips, I went ahead and got a larger size bag for these. So these were $2.67. You could save a little bit by getting a smaller bag, but I know we go through them quickly, so I wanted to get the bigger bag for us. Then, don't want to skip the meats down here. This is my half loin pork roast. You can see here the price was $7.29 and it's just about exactly 4 pounds, which I was very happy with that. This will make a great meal, just as a roasted a roasted pork loin. We will have this, like I said, with this side of our roasted broccoli. We'll have that for one meal, and then we will be using those hoagies over there to make our pork sandwiches for another meal. So there you have the pork. Now the chicken, this is just a little over 5 pounds, a little over 5.5 pounds actually, and that was $8.26 for our chicken. So I'm gonna be cooking that and we can cook it however. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You'll see how I do it. But I'm hoping to get a good 7 cups of chicken from that so that we can make 3 different dinners. So I will let you see how that goes. But that is our meat for 5 dinners. And then, like I said, we have 1 dinner that does not have any meat, and then we have leftovers for a meal. Okay, so looking over here, our pasta, this was just 98 cents. And then we have some canned goods. Our bigger one, let's see back here, this was $1.48. And then got 2 cans of black beans and a can of pinto beans, and those were each 86 cents. 86 cents each. And then our not Kroger, Walmart brand Rotel, this was 96 cents. And then we just have a little thing of sauce that was 48 cents. And taco seasoning. Now you may already have this on hand. If you do, you don't have to worry about it, but I wanted to make sure to include it in this meal plan since it is something that you'll need. So this was 47 cents. Also, you probably already have ranch and some sort of an Italian dressing on hand. If you do, you do not need to buy them. You do not need to use hardly any Italian dressing in the recipe that we're using it for. So if you already have it on hand, don't worry about it, but I did want to include it. So this is $1.97. So basically you'll be spending $2 less if you already have this. This was also $1.97. Now you definitely need plenty of ranch because we're going to be using a little in the taco soup and then also in our chicken ranch pasta recipe. So you do want to make sure if you barely have any left that you go ahead and buy another thing of ranch. Okay, and then rice. This was just 88 cents. You can get whatever kind of rice you like. I like to get the brown rice. So that is what I got. So everything here, I just went over my goal of $50. It was $51.52. It's always, when you do grocery pickup, you never know quite what sizes of things you'll get. So I was going for 5 pounds. I got over 5 pounds, which made this just a little bit more. I can't remember what the other thing is that was slightly more than I expected, which made me go over $50. But again, like I said, if you have some of these basic ingredients already, you don't have to include them, and then you will still be able to spend just at $50 or under $50 for all of this.
We're going to start out by cooking our chicken so that we have it all ready for the 3 chicken recipes. So you can do this on the stove, you can do it in the oven. I just chose to do it in the crock pot this time because it seemed easy. So I'm just spreading a little bit of oil over it. That way all my seasonings will stick. So get that oil on, and then you can season it with whatever that you prefer to use. But today I grabbed some chili powder, I grabbed a little bit of paprika, grabbed some garlic, and then of course some salt. And that's what I went with. So I just put it in the crock pot for 4 hours on high. I probably could have gotten away with 3. It was definitely quite tender when I took it out, but there it is, looking good. And when I shredded it up, it gave me a good 8 cups, which is great. That is plenty for our 3 chicken recipes. So our first recipe that calls for chicken is our chicken taco soup. I also did this in the crock pot. It's really easy to just dump everything in and let it cook away. So I dumped in my tomatoes, then I have a can of pinto beans and a can of black beans, which you can totally do home cooked beans too if you have them on hand. And then of course some taco seasoning, just dumping it all in. Some ranch, you can also use the packets of ranch, but I usually just have dressing on hand. Then some corn, and then I'm putting in 3 cups of chicken. So I'm just giving that a stir to get it ready to cook. Oh, and then I decided, the recipe does not call for onion, but I decided I wanted some onion in there because everything is always better with onion, in my opinion. So I'm just stirring it up, and then I just let this cook for 3 to 4 hours on high or so, and then it was ready. So that one is such an easy recipe. Okay, next up is our chicken ranch pasta recipe. So I'm going to cook up some pasta. This was 16 ounce. You could do 12 ounce. 16 made a good bit, honestly, but I just wanted to cook up the whole box. So I did rotini. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. Then I cut up some broccoli, and I'm just getting that all cut up into kind of bite-sized pieces, and I just put that on the stove to steam really quick. Once my pasta is done, I obviously strained out the water, and now I'm just adding ranch. It's a cup of ranch. I think I did a bit less, but I definitely could have used the whole cup. And then 2 cups of chicken and my steamed and drained broccoli. And that is it. And it's perfect like that. Now, if you have Parmesan cheese on hand, I did not include this in my grocery order, but if you have it on hand, sprinkle a little of that on there too. That adds some good flavor as well. But that's really how simple it is. Next up is chicken fried rice. So I'm getting some onion here to saute, and normally I would use white onion or even yellow, but I already had some purple onion that I had used a half of, and I had some left over in the fridge, so I'm just doing that. And then I'm doing some, you can do mixed veggies, which is what I got in my grocery order, but then I saw that I had some peas and carrots left over in the freezer, so I decided to do those instead. But whatever combination of veggies you want, you are just going to stick those in there and saute them a little bit, and then add 2 cups of chicken. And I was just stirring that around to get the chicken heated because it had been cold from the fridge. So once you have that, then you are going to add 2 cups of cold rice. You want it cold just because that way it doesn't fall apart as easily. Again, for my grocery order, I had purchased brown rice, but I had some white rice that was left over, so I just used that. And then I'm adding soy sauce, not a specific amount, as you can see, I'm just kind of pouring some in there. And then I just did a tiny bit of sesame oil because I had some on hand. You can totally skip it if you don't have it. It can definitely be overpowering if you're not careful, so just add a little. And here is the final product. Super easy and very delicious. Okay, next up is our roasted pork loin. So what I'm doing to start is getting this pan ready with a little foil on it. It just makes the cleanup easier, honestly. You don't need the foil if you don't have it. But I'm doing that, and then I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of cooking spray. And then I'm going to mix up my dry rub. So I'm doing a little bit of garlic powder. It also calls for onion powder, and I did not have that on hand, so I just skipped it. Doing some Italian seasoning, and then it also called for paprika. I didn't have regular paprika on hand, so again, just skipped it, no big deal. Then I'm just doing salt and pepper. So it's a very simple dry rub, especially if you're missing some of the ingredients, but honestly, it tasted amazing like this. So if you don't have everything, don't worry about it. But I do think the Italian seasoning is the one thing that really adds if you have that. So then we're doing some Worcestershire sauce, and I'm going to, I think it's a tablespoon or 2, and I'm going to rub it all over my pork loin on the top and on the bottom. That's going to obviously add flavor, but then it's also going to help our dry rub to stick. So then I'm just going to put that on there, kind of pat it in a little bit. And by the way, you can trim that fat off the top if you want, but I always just leave it on, and I think it adds flavor. But they say that when you cook it, you should have the fat side on the top. So I don't know what the reason is for that, but I just follow the instructions. So here it is, all ready to go in the oven. Here is the pork loin when it just came out. So you'll see it looks a little burnt around it, and even maybe a little dark on top. But don't worry, that's how it's supposed to look. It's going to taste delicious. Really excited about it. I'm gonna let this sit here for like 5 or 10 minutes. You can tent it with a little foil if you want, or just leave it like that and just let it sit and cool a bit. Once my pork loin had some time to cool, then I went ahead and started slicing it up. I was really happy with how it turned out. It wasn't too dry or anything, but it was totally cooked through, and it was really delicious. For this meal plan, I was planning to do broccoli, roasted broccoli, and some bread, but I had some lettuce that was going a little old in the fridge, so I decided to use that up. So that's what you see here. Okay, next up are our pork hoagies. So I had sliced up my pork the previous day and put the leftovers in the fridge. I tried to slice it as thin as possible so that I could use it for the sandwiches. So I have my hoagies spread out here on a pan with some foil, and I'm just spreading a little bit of tomato sauce. This is just from a can, but you could also use jarred pasta sauce or whatever you have on hand. And then I am just putting my slices of pork on my hoagies. Some of them I probably could have sliced a little thinner if I'd used a better knife, but it was fine. So I'm just kind of trying to evenly distribute it on there. And then I'm pouring just a little bit of Italian dressing on each one. You don't want to like overpower it with the taste. So as you can see, I'm not really putting all that much, but it really does add to the sandwiches. So definitely don't skip the Italian dressing. And then I'm just adding some cheese. My fingers were kind of wet, so the cheese was all sticking, but I'm getting it on there. I like to add a good bit because I love cheese. But once we have all our cheese on there, we're just going to stick them in the oven at like 350 and let that cheese melt for 5 minutes or so. And here is the final product. These are super yummy. And now on to our meatless meal. So I'm just throwing together some quick quesadillas on my griddle. You can see I have a little observer in the background here. Normally with quesadillas, I like to do like a yellow cheese, but since I already needed the mozzarella for the hoagies, I'm just also using that for the quesadillas. And then we're doing our black bean salsa. So for this, you need jalapenos, your black beans, your corn, cilantro, and onion, and then also some tomato. So I'm just throwing all of that together. And then you're gonna add a little bit of olive oil and then some seasonings. So I have some cayenne pepper, some cumin, and some garlic powder. And then I had some avocado on hand. Now this was not in my grocery order, but I did have that on hand, so I mixed that in too. Not a necessity, but it's nice if you have it. And here is the final dinner, our quesadillas, our black bean salsa, and also some tortilla chips and salsa. I hope this video was helpful for you guys and gave you some good ideas. Even if you don't follow the meal plan exactly, hopefully it gave you some good frugal meal ideas. If you need more ideas, I'm going to link a playlist and also that $10 Walmart video, so you can check those out. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. That helps me out a lot on my channel. Here on my channel, I share my own family's meal plan every Monday, so I will be back on Monday with that video. I'll see you then.